we are live.
All right. It is I, Gunther. I have many rounds. I know you want papers. Hello and welcome. This is part 3 of.
Session 3 of Escape the Kraken.
Well, you've escaped the Kraken already. So this is the start of perhaps the next chapter of your adventure.
Yeah. Chapter 1 out of the epilogue.
Previously it was the prologue for sure. So I would say you, Sam, have some notes from the previous sessions. Do you want to give a recap of some basics of things that have gone on?
In the first session, we met Noseless, a navigator without a nose, and we got a bunch. And we pretty much were just we got some items, and then in session 2 we met the lovely Ventral, and we defeated the boss.
Turn that off, please.
It is bad. I'll turn it.
We defeated the boss, the captain of the Kraken, and we got a companion in a gorilla. Tell us the gorilla's name.
Yes. His name, Monke. Monkey. He is my right-hand man. This is the scout of the ship, the treasure collector, as the one that sorted it all, and you steer the ship.
Sounds good. All right. So
I make sure we don't die on sea.
So
we are heading into town.
The 4 adventurers who have successfully defeated the pirates who captured them in several weeks ago for the mutiny. You helped the other captives take over the ship. Got rid of all the pirates. Got rid of the captain. You were in the middle of a magical storm caused by some evil influence, perhaps from an evil god of some sort. However, Gunther, in taking over the ship, may have pledged that he would give some sort of fealty to this creature in order to survive and for their help. And the last thing that happened in the battle when we got spot was a giant wave washed over the ship. The captain was washed over the side along with many of the pirates. A lot of your captive teammates or crew members, they survived and they managed to stay on the ship, except for the paladin, who also was washed over, paladin and I. However, it's been at this point, like, you've all rested, gotten some things in order. It's been like 10 or 12 hours, and you are adrift at sea. The mast, unfortunately, was broken in the storm. You really don't have much of a way to propel yourselves for a long distance, except for the oars, which the captives that you guys were a part of were forced to row the ship, right? So there's enough people still left to limp along, but you're in open sea. There's no land in sight. You're going to have to figure out what to do and maybe where you want to go. So, Noseless, who was the ship's carpenter and also knows a bit about navigation and that kind of thing, he's an old sailor. He looks over some charts and says there is a nearby, he thinks fairly nearby island based on his reckoning where he thinks you are. He looked at the stars and did the mathematics and all that kind of stuff. He's training and that kind of thing. He thinks if everyone gets together in rows, you can probably make it to this island where it's only small, but it has like a lighthouse. Maybe there's someone there. Maybe there is some supplies, or maybe there is a possibility to get repairs, that kind of thing. And he says that's, in his opinion, the best idea. However, it's up to you guys. You can certainly. What do you guys think?
I think we should go to this island. If there are boats.
For one thing, you do notice is like you are not critically low, but fairly low on fresh water. So even more than food, you need fresh water to make any kind of journey. And Noza says, any small island is, there's a good chance it's going to have a spring or something, especially if there's like a lighthouse or any kind of structure there. There's going to be some sort of fresh water supplies there. So,
We go to the island.
all right. So you guys decide to rally the crew. Most of them are like tired captives. They're not not in the greatest shape, but you manage to rally them and say, we're going to survive and get out of this. We've already taken over the ship. One last leg.
I will inspire them with my banjo.
Yeah. Okay. Gunther, what do you do? You don't have to roll for it. What do you do?
I just play a song on my banjo.
Yeah. You play some sea shanties, popular on TikTok right now.
Yeah.
And get the crew amped up. Say, okay, we're going to survive this. We're going to repair the ship, but we got to row to this island. Noza is going to guide us. We're all going to help. And Noza says it's going to take like 2 days. We're going to work in shifts. We're going to have to go as quickly as we can if we're going to survive. And he says, I can navigate. And so he says, Captain, if you'll give the order to head due northwest. So with that in mind, you guys get the crew, you get enough people in shifts, you start rowing, and after the seas are pretty calm for most of the journey. There's only a few rock patches, but eventually you don't have a crow's nest, but you see in the distance an island with 2 low hills, and you can see a couple of stone structures on this island in the distance. It's an overcast day, but not so dark that you can't see anything, not stormy or anything like that. The weather's good and weather holds up. And you still have your ship is not going to be able to approach the island, but you do have a longboat, or not a longboat, like a rowboat basically, like a light vessel basically, right? And so you guys could get off the ship if you want and row this island to explore it. There is only enough room for 5 people in the boat. So 4 of you guys obviously.
I'm taking these 3 with me and Monkey.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say you can take one of the creature with you. So you take the gorilla with you. He's become a friendly companion.
And I'm
to all of you.
able to talk with him.
Exactly. Gunther can talk to him. So
Only I can talk with him, though. Only I know the dialect of Monkey.
I can be friends with him. Might give him a friendship.
But you do not know what he says.
One thing I don't have is a miniature for the monkey. We can find them after if you want. Perfect.
Or quick enough.
Good enough. All right. So, okay, as you guys approach, like I said, the weather's clear enough so you can actually see fairly well, get a sense of the island. I'll say what you guys do, just to scout it out a little bit, is you kind of circle around one side. So you can actually see the island.
Good thing you told us that is my opinion here.
Yeah, that's all we need. I was going to cut it earlier, I didn't have time. So I did. Print it right for work. Oh, that's okay.
Are you okay in there? Yeah.
Better?
There we go, 8 and 1. Okay, there, thank you.
So as you guys do like a circle around this island, you don't see any creatures. Doesn't see any signs of life. You see an old. You do see an intact. What looks like a lighthouse. So it's up on one of the. There's 2 hills, one in the center and one here. So the lighthouse seems to be up on the peak of this hill, and there looks to be an old crumbling building on that hill. And you do also see on a small island there looks to be some sort of shipwreck. So it looks really. Couple of decades old, really. So it's been here for a while. Place looks kind of abandoned. There's a small little grove of trees as well. And each of these hexes these hex marks on here, they're about like 25 meters each. So probably about the size, well, a bit bigger than this room, really. So it's huge. So it's not a giant island, but like it's not just like, you know, these aren't like 5 feet deep. These are like, you see, I will say, yeah, you see a stream coming down from this hill. Just like a very thin stream, so it looks like it might be some pond, right? So, if you on this island you want to explore, you're going to use this guy to move where you want. And while I'll just lay with him here, you can move one space for each person in the party. So 4 spaces at a time, and every time you guys decide where you want to move, then I'm going to maybe roll and see if something happens or whatever, right? So that's how today's session is going to work. The target is 12, so everything that you have to do starts at 12. If you're going to roll, it may increase, it may decrease. If you get advantage, you roll twice. If you get disadvantage, you roll twice and take the worst result. Right? Standard, pretty standard way of doing something. But okay, so you guys are on your ship out in the water. You circle around this island. Where do you think you want to land? So you can get off your ship, like I said, on the rowboat, row into shore, pull it up on the beach. This looks to be the most like actual beach section. The rest has like some high, this is like rocky cliffs up around here. You know, only a couple feet high, like 10, 15 feet high, but not quite the easiest place. The easiest place would definitely be like along this coast. That seems to be the lower beachhead. Sure. And in fact, actually, as you come across here, I've mentioned this as well. You see like that. There's an old wall. Like it's only like a foot or so high, but there'd be clearly some sort of like maybe like a dock or like a place to put it, right? So that is actually, if you want to pull in there, you're both could like. What do you guys want to do? What do you want to do?
Check out the lighthouse first.
So, like I said, this is how it's going to work. You actually do have to, like a board game, I'm going to get you guys to actually move around the map here. So if you started like right here, each person, you can, as you move around, if you want to like say, I want to investigate, you'll look around like the hex that you're in, and I'll maybe roll some dice to see if you find anything. Otherwise, you can just like take your turns and go around to the different areas. Yeah. So, do you want to? Yeah. So, what do you want to do? Do you want to move along the path, or do you want to actually investigate as you're going?
Captain.
So now we get to the lighthouse.
All right. So I'll say that we'll just go like right around 2 turns basically. So you're coming up. Like I said, you see this old wall here. There's a large tree here as well. What's kind of odd is the rest of the island is like barren scrub and rocky, and just, if you've ever been like in anywhere here in Newfoundland, like along the coast, there's like, yeah, there's lots of like low shrubs and low bushes and stuff like that, very close to the ground, like only a couple inches high. And you do see a path that leads up to the top of the hill to the lighthouse here. So if you go like, 1, 2, 3, 4, you come across, first thing you see is these statues along the wall, or along the walkway. You see they're old and weather beaten. They're carved from the same stone of that's clearly on this island. And they look like elf people. And they're dressed in like mariner gear and stuff. And they're like standing at attention, like they're soldiers kind of. And they're clearly statues, not lifelike or anything like that. But you do immediately notice that the faces of the elves have been like defaced, so they don't look like, it looks like the faces have been like broken away and like a new face has been carved into it, basically. So does anybody, what languages do people speak? Has anybody chosen languages yet?
Common, Draconic, can't.
Okay.
You speak Elvish.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not good Elvish, so keep that in mind. You do recognize that they're elves because of that, so definitely they're elf creatures. faces.
You would know common, dwarvish, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Is anybody proficient in nature?
Is that like,
What are your skills? Yeah. Yeah, you are?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say actually bonus because you're a dwarf. Roll a nature check with advantage.
advantage, so
So 2 and take the better.
2D.
So roll a d20, add the number next to nature, and whichever one's higher. So this d20, take that. But basically, you only have to be 12. So,
12 and 16.
yeah. Okay. So what's your bonus to nature? +2. Okay. So 18 is
Plus
your total.
2 plus 2.
Is it +2?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because if you're proficient, you'll also have your proficiency.
Oh, okay,
So-
yes, yeah.
So that really should say +4.
That's +2, though, for any other check you're
Yeah.
not proficient in.
Yeah.
That's right.
Perfect. So it's +2 for all those, but it's +4 for that.
That's right. So, okay, so with that in mind, you basically rolled a 20, not a natural 20, but you rolled a 20, so you immediately recognize, oh no, these faces are carved to look like goblins. As dwarves who hate goblins, you know that basic fact. You would recognize this anywhere. It's very crude and not great, but someone has taken these elf statues, which probably had like these nice marble carved faces, like you see Roman statues and stuff like that, and they defaced them into look like goblins. So, goblins. With that in mind, I will, in fact, roll it. Okay.
Goblin?
So,
Goblin face with
right. You notice that, and the wind is like, as you get up a little bit on the slope here, the wind picks up a little bit. I will say this island is out in the middle of the ocean. You don't see anything else nearby. You're not like near land or anything. So it's very, very windy, and it's all, so to talk to each other, unless you get like right up to someone and like whisper, like in their ear, it's like you had to almost yell to be heard. And as you look around as well, you realize that there's no cover on this island. So if you're trying to sneak around, it's not going to be easy. You can definitely sneak around, but it's going to be hard to do that. So basically, you're going to have disadvantage to sneak. If you can find a way to get an advantage, then it'll cancel out that disadvantage. Right? So, but you kind of like look around and realize that. And you see, as you get up this path a little bit farther, you see, like I said, in the distance, there's a big grove of trees over this way. Very dense trees. There's a couple of outliers here. And you see across the way, there's this other old building that's just fallen into ruin. There's no roof anymore, it's just the walls standing. But if you've ever been to, if anybody here has ever been to La Manche, the old building La Manche, on the southern shore, there's like all these old, like literally you go down there. Fairland is parts of it like too. There's all these old like ruined walls of houses from like the 50s. That's where people moved away and left their houses. Right?
So it's similar to when we, in Greece and Rome.
Yeah, absolutely right. So okay, so you guys get up to this pentagon-shaped lighthouse. You see it's mostly intact. It looks pretty old, but it's made from a very well-made stone. Make a history check. Just Angel, because you are a dwarf again. Dwarves have a skill called stone cunning, which you have advantage on any history checks to do with stonework.
What,
So history, if you can find it, and it's D20 roll twice.
twice?
Yeah.
7 and 17.
Okay, with 17 you pass, that's fine. So, okay, with the 17, as you get up close, you notice, oh, like these stones are built really well. They're made to resist the weather. And you see as well, thinking about the statues back there. That's weird. These elves, this is dwarven stonework. So it must have been something like some kind of alliance or something. If those are they look like elven sailors, is what I should say, like Navy sailors. And this is dwarven stonework built to withstand the weather that would last for centuries and centuries. And you really recognize this. Like, oh, this is tough stuff. Right? And looking up farther, you can see like it goes 3 floors up. There's a door, a wooden door, and at the top there is like an actual like lighthouse. Like there's glass with it's a bit dark and dirty up there right now. Like a little railway on the outside, a red roof, like a red wooden roof. It looks like there's a must be chamber in there where you could turn on the lights. Check out the mechanics. Light to help ships not get this on if they're passing. Nice, you know? So there's a wooden door in front of you. It does have like a keyhole on it and like a handle.
I open.
Sure. So it does appear to be locked, but it's old and rusty.
I'm kicking it in.
So, well, you have a thief with you.
Can I add that?
Okay, fine.
So, is that an advantage?
You're gonna just roll it regular for this case.
Okay.
It
And
doesn't look too
what
hard.
check is it?
So you're gonna add your D20 plus your dexterity plus your proficiency bonus because you're a thief, right?
That's a 10.
10 in total. 10 in total.
Yeah.
Okay, so you fiddle with this lock for a bit, and it's so rusty that you get it. You know it would open normally, but it's so rusty from the salt air that it won't turn. It's rusted shut.
What's the
Kicking it open.
Make a check.
Would this count towards athletics?
I'm going to say is purely strength in this case. To kick open the door is definitely not athletics. So I'm going to add your strength bonus to your D20.
I only have 11.
Same thing. You hit it really hard. Like you kick it like 3 times, but the door must be like swelled shut from the weather. Like the stone looks in perfect shape. But yeah, the door is also old wood and it must have been like swollen from the old sea weather and stuff and jammed in the door. So we're going to find another way.
That rust. Too raw.
You do, I think I'll say this as well. It's pretty obvious that up top, like I said, there's glass and there's a way to get out on like a balcony with a railing. So you can maybe try and climb up there. That will be, you wouldn't even have to make a check to try that, but well, you have to make a check to climb, but you would not necessarily have to make a check to realize that there's probably another way in if you want to try it.
I'm going to climb.
Otherwise, you can explore somewhere outside if you want to
I'm gonna try to climb.
Fine.
do that. Sure. Well, let's say Swift will try because you haven't tried anything yet. So you want to try and climb up to the top. So it's 3 floors up, so it's like 30 feet. It's pretty far. But there's some little handholds in the stone. Do you have any equipment like rope or anything? Actually,
I don't think so.
I would say there was definitely rope on the ship, so everyone can have 50 feet of rope. Standard. We might need rope. Rope is
All
like,
right, so
if anyone's seen The Lord of the Rings, they know that Sam says rope is the most important thing.
What if I have monkey bash open door?
so is this gonna be an acrobatics check or?
You know that it's no one's gonna, if you couldn't do it, then no one. Yeah. But, it would be athletics as well. Generally what you do. Think of acrobatics and athletics. Here's a really good rule of thumb. Athletics is for going up. Acrobatics is for coming down.
Oh,
That's a good rule. Generally, we might tweak that depending on the situation. But if you want to climb something, think about it like you see on TV. Well, I don't know if you guys see TV, but the TV I've watched before, like when they're in gym class, they got to do the rope climb thing. That's strength and athletics. But to come down and like roll so you don't get hurt is acrobatics, right? So, other than that, you could like depending on what's going on.
10.
10 plus anything?
Plus 2 for athletics, so that's a dirty 12.
You got it. Dirty 12. You find some handholds. It takes a couple of minutes because you just made a thought. You don't have any real problems getting up to the top. It's a bit slow going, just finding each handhold. So with that, I'm going to roll some. Okay. You get up to the top and you see, you climb over the railing and you maybe, would you like to drop a rope down to these guys and they can easily climb up because you got to the top. So you drop down your rope, you tie it on the old railing that's there. which is, again, when you get up there, you see that it's very sturdy metal iron railing. A bit rusty and old, but definitely sturdy, still in good shape. And there's another door up here. So you guys all get up to the top. You're in this balcony area. And you can see inside now that there is like a central platform inside this glass, this circle of glass. And there's a big reflector and there's a big oil lamp in there. And you see like a couple of old barrels, but they look well sealed, but they say oil on the side, like lamp oil. They're like giant barrels like this tall. And yeah, and there's another door. And if you go to that door, that one is locked, but it's much more protected from the weather up here. And it's like behind like a certain, with the way the glass fits and everything, it's not like the one down the ground. So I'm going to say if you want to try and lock pick this one, you can have advantage.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
pick
it's much, you see them as like oil rolls.
a 22.
Perfect, yeah. With ease, you see it's the exact same lock mechanism as below. It's like this exact same like design. And you're like, well, I know how to pick this because I just tried it down there. And it turns as if it was like freshly oiled almost. It's very well made. And the door swings open on nice hinges, and you get a musty smell come from inside because clearly it's not been open for a while, but you can get into the lighthouse. What do you guys do?
Investigate.
Okay, so why don't someone else investigate? You have the door. Why don't someone else have the door? Whoever wants to. Whoever maybe has the highest investigation or passive perception. Not passive perception, perception. But I should heard the kids same thing.
I have a +4 investigation.
Oh. That's great. One of you wasn't swift, take the lead, scout ahead, and just kind of see what's up.
Alright, so do I roll for this,
Yeah, roll for an investigation check, and I'll tell you if you spot anything extra interesting beyond the obvious things.
3.
3 plus 4, so 7. So yeah, you don't see anything specifically special. Like I said, you see the reflector and the lamp and the oil and the stairs that go down. That's pretty much all. Just have a quick look around up here. So, one of you two, what do you want to do?
I'm going to pick a nail and toss it
Over the side of the thing.
and check what's inside.
Yeah, well, okay, if I will say this, like, as you go to pick it up, it's extremely heavy, like very, very, very heavy. You can start to get it up off the ground, no problem, because you're super. What's your strength? What's your bonus strength?
+3.
+3, yeah, definitely. You can definitely start to pick it up. And you hear like a sloshing sound inside, so it must be, it says right on the outside, lamp oil. You can guess that it's lamp oil. You smell it as well. It smells like lamp oil.
It's oil.
Yeah.
We can sell this.
Yeah, there are 3 barrels, 3 fairly big barrels. But this tall, if you use one on ship for sure, they,
I'm going to take this with me.
yeah, sure. So if you want to take it with you, well, for now, I would say you know it's here. If you wanted to take it with you,
I'm
probably
laying it next to the door.
yeah, like I mean,
Moving them over.
that's probably your best bet
Just
would
make
be.
it easy.
Probably your best bet would be to get your crew eventually coming, right? So you know it's there, so you can write down 3 large barrels of lamp oil. And you know what? Write down that they're worth 10 gold apiece. And, they're well sealed. They're old, but they've been in idle weather, so they're still in good shape. They're not leaking, all that kind of stuff. They're in pretty decent shape now, for sure. All right. What do you want to do? The stairs down is the other obvious thing in this room.
Can we look
Once
around
again,
from up
besides the reflector, obviously.
there? Can we look around from up there?
From up here, like go around and look around. Yes, absolutely. And the higher.
Like look at the island from up
Yeah, absolutely. I would say if you can tell you're in the highest point on the island right now. And so you see again, the main things you see, you can't see like beyond this way, because the hill is up here. But like you see this old house. As you get up higher, you see there's like some cellar doors there. Like, you ever see like on a farm or like in a TV show, like there's those slanted doors that open up this way and you walk down into the cellar. So inside that building, you can see that there's doors like that, just inside. And make a perception check.
Sure.
What is your passive perception? So that should be 12. Okay. Make a perception check.
That is, what do you?
D20 plus your perception check. 7.
That's 1, 2.
2. I will say this, you notice the trees. They're surprisingly green, which seems a bit odd. Everything else is like very much like Newfoundland, scrubbed away, like low shrubs and all this. Why are these big trees growing? And they're big like the conifers that we have out here, like evergreen trees, right? And I will say, all 4 of you do notice this. What Noza said to look for was, if we're going to build a mast, fix a ship, we're going to need timbers. That's what you're looking for. Is giant, like tree trunks, right? So you guys can cut them down. It'll take a few days, but you can form it into at least a temporary mast. The rigging on your ship and the sails were in good shape. You recovered that stuff and it's drying on the deck right now, but you need the actual physical mast to put back. It's going to take a lot of work, but he thinks that you guys can do it. There's also the mages that survive with you guys. They say they can help. They tried to repair the other mast, but it was too, even with magic, it was kind of too much. They didn't have the right spells to do it. But they said they could probably help them figure out that kind of way to be bored. Because they want to survive too, right? Everyone wants to get back to land or whatever, right? But anyway, you do notice that specifically. Some of the trees definitely tall enough, you can tell just by looking at it. But yeah, come up from this height. Here you go. What do you guys want to do?
Down.
Okay, so there's stairs down, or you can go back out the other way. Like stairs. You're going downstairs. Yeah, okay. You go down to the second, so you're on the 3rd floor now. You go down to the 2nd floor. It's an old living quarters, so there's like an old wooden furniture is kind of not totally rotted away, but like it's broken up a bit and falling apart, it's dusty, tons of dust. There's little windows looking out all around this room, and there's clearly enough space for like one person to have stayed here for some time. Little fireplace, that kind of stuff. But it doesn't look to be anything special. Looking around, you can tell. And the stairs continue down. Do you want to go down to the 1st floor as well?
Look around here, try to find loot.
Roll your investigation. Yeah.
7 plus 4 is 11, so I barely.
Yeah, you look around.
7 and 4?
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, so the target is 12 right now. So you look around. Like I said, it's all furniture. There's an old like wooden bed, and it smells kind of. The mattress that's on it is like musty and stuff. Yeah, a wooden chair and like a little tiny bookshelf and a little tiny fireplace is set into the wall that clearly
Nothing was value, basically.
Yeah, nothing really. Just very utilitarian stuff. Whoever worked here, this is where they would stay. They were manning the life. So
Let's leave.
So there's one more floor. If you go down to the bottom floor, I'll just say you do. You get down there, and there's you see the wooden door that was jammed, and this is clearly there would be some storage here. So you do find like any kind of basic gear that you might want. So there's like if you need a lantern, there's a lantern here. If you need some rope, there's rope here. If you need like oil skins, this stuff is all left down here. It's just there's a couple of crates, and you find any of that kind of chip stuff. So if there's one thing anybody can think of that they might want, you'll find it. And one basic thing. What's that?
Sword spell?
No weapons. But any kind of like tools or anything like that. You'll find it basically. If you need a shovel or you need a crowbar or something, or
Simple repair tools would be
Sure. You find a little bag of like simple like metal and woodworking tools, old style like there's like pincers and a hammer and a saw and this kind of stuff. Seeing like a leather bag. Absolutely, take that and like I will just call it a tool bag. And if you think you need a tool, unless it's crazy, you can have it. It'll be in that bag as long as you have that bag on. Yeah, sure. And also, yeah, you see again the obvious stuff. There's like some like lanterns and stuff like that. Flint and steel, I think, or anything like that kind of stuff. Right? Like little simple things that anybody might want. But again, yeah, if anybody thinks of anything or can think of something they might want, then actually, hold on. Here's what we'll do. Let me see that player's handbook. All the tool section. See anything that's worth like less than 20 gold. Right, that much. Anything worth less than 5 gold, it's there. But yeah, I'll say specifically there's like a bag. Basic tools, yeah. Trinkets.
I legit thought you said fish repairs for a second.
Tools.
Is there something
Sure.
that I can press the dragon in the bunch of stuff?
So anything on this page that says adventuring gear, or on this section that says tools, something basic, you can probably find it there if you want to have a look. But it's worth less than 5 gold pieces.
If I roll a d1,
Worth 5 gold pieces or less.
is there anything that is sort of tiny, random, shiny?
Roll D100.
That's a 28.
Okay, in a second, thing, a page or two back, it says trinkets. Should we do D100 table? I think it's backwards. So let me see if it might be back on the last part of it. It might be ahead. Anyway, find the trinkets page. And for 28, you got that. You find like tucked away in one of the boxes, there's a trinket. You can look in the index too. Anyway, okay, so Paigey looks around and finds some kind of trinket. What do you guys want to do? So you notice the door from inside.
It was a few pages of
Yeah, there you go. So from inside the door, you can see that what was causing the door to stick was the door jamb was swelled, but you got the tools now, and you can take it apart with a couple minutes and open the door.
I'm going to take hinges off.
Yeah, you don't need to make any skill check. You can just do it, right? As you found these tools, there's enough stuff to like. You hammer this apart and you take this screw out and
Take screws out.
exactly. You get this little piece of stuck wood. You knock it away. What time is it?
It is 5 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay. So you knock it away, and with that, the door swings open, and you're back outside. You're back outside, and you see down on the path. You see. You see 7 creatures down on the path, and they were clearly trying to sneak up to the lighthouse, and they see you open the door, and you're like this huge tall guy, and there's a bunch of, there are a bunch of goblins trying to get the jump on your guys. And they all like pause, like, you know, like as they see you, and they all look like kind of like look around, look at each other from side to side, and then they raise their weapons and they cry out and they start rushing towards Gunther as you guys are in the lighthouse. everyone roll for initiative. So what you're gonna do, right, roll your d20, and your initiative score is 0 for you, unfortunately. I am going to roll, and if I get the highest out of everyone, so you guys have the advantage in this case.
16.
Okay, and we'll just remember your numbers. Yeah, okay. I rolled a 13. Did anybody beat 13?
I did.
Okay. Who got less than 13? Okay, so you two guys are gonna go, then I'm gonna go, and then you guys. All right?
So as a context off.
So there are 7 goblins down this path. I'm not gonna draw this out. There are 7 goblins. They're in a little crowd. You are still inside. You have this door, like you just opened, but you could like shut. I will say that. But they started rushing you guys. Paigey and Banjul, you guys get to act first. What do you do? You see these, yeah. You hear these screaming goblins start rushing up there.
Okay. How close are they to us?
20 feet away.
Gunther still has over.
Do we have can we have a battle map?
Yeah, sure. You have a black
Yeah,
marker.
there's loads of colors.
Okay, so battle map, really quick. I'll just draw as quick as I can. So you guys are like, I'll say you guys are here, like this. There's a door here. I'll bring this closer to you guys. And there's the path winds down the hill. Forgive my terrible art. It's like a gravel path, right? Statues are here. There's a statue here and here and here and here. And there's like a little, this side is like a little bit of a steep drop, but this side gently slopes down. And where the goblins are coming from is, some of them are like on the path. I'll say the closest one is 20 feet away, so 5, 10, 15, 20. So the closest one is like right there. And then they just kind of spread out a little bit. One guy's coming up the hill here, and he's out the back front. And Mills lets them go away. You guys are in here, so if you got your minis, put them inside the.
I have monkey.
Gunther just opened the door, so. So, all right, what do you guys do? To your decisions. Either whoever wants to go first.
We both got 16.
Yeah, so just choose to go first. Yes, ma'am.
Natural fire, I did, so.
So you go first. Yeah, makes sense.
He's gonna go over here and like rest
All right.
to them. They gotta make it dex save.
What's your saving throw?
My DC is 12.
DC 12. Okay, so okay, let me see this. Okay, so which ones did you target?
Targeted. It's in on one.
How long is it?
30 feet.
30 feet? Oh, so you can like go straight down and like hit like 3 guys. Yeah, so just to make sure, 5, 10, I'll say, yeah. 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. Yeah, so you can hit those 3 guys, no problem.
Yeah.
Right? So the 3 of them are all standing right in a line. They're all like almost standing like you can't even see the ones behind the front guy. But each of you are going to roll 2, 1 fails, 12, 1 passes, 19, 1 passes. So this guy, totally unaware, you like shoots right through him, this blast of lightning. But these guys, so I'm going to tell you this, you notice, you would think normally like, oh, this might not even kill them. You guys explode. And they explode into like a cloud of like, there's sort of like some weird, gross like flesh and stuff, but they also partly look like plants. It's kind of hard to explain. You see like green, like chlorophyll type, like
Green,
stuff fly out of blood as this guy explodes. But these guys jump to the side. Actually, is it saved for half? Is it saved and they take half damage?
No, it was just they
If they save, they take 0 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So these guys jump to the sides, basically this way and that way, and it goes like right through this guy. Like last second, they jump aside. He gets blown up completely.
Plant God.
And yeah, okay. So someone has seen that once again. Does anybody know anything about goblins? Which is your creature, your character background.
Looks normally eat goblins.
I will give you that. I think that's an interesting world fact that someone should write down. Orcs eat goblins, and remember that for our world. That is now law in our world. Orcs eat goblins. So
Features and traits. Orcs eat goblins.
why do orcs eat goblins? Because goblins are mushroom plant people. They are not flesh and blood like other creatures.
Normal goblins, but these ones, they are not normal.
No, so what in my now officially in our world, and my notes that I made up is that orcs, like goblins are like sentient mushroom people, essentially. That's what they are. But they're kind of animals, kind of plants. And that's why orcs eat them.
meat.
Yeah, exactly. That's why orcs eat them. Because they are delicious. And you also do know as well, seeing goblins, and you as a dwarf know this as well, that where there's goblins, there's a hobgoblin. And meaning that there's usually one boss.
So we normally just take hobgoblin and captive.
And so hobgoblins are way tougher, like normal size, 6 foot tall creatures that goblins eventually might turn into. Right? So you know that basic facts about goblins.
We
So-
take the hobgoblin, strangle them, chain them up,
Terrible.
Yeah.
then we capture them.
And now,
Goblins automatically come to try and save, but we use them as food.
and as my bonus action,
As well. Okay, so Paige, as a bonus action, what do you do?
hide.
Okay, so you, where do you want to hide? Do you want to try to get back in the building or go down this slope and find a rock? There's like a big rock. There's a bunch of big rocks down here.
I'm gonna hide behind a rock.
Yeah, so you can easily move far enough and because you only move a couple
Roll
feet.
a
You can-
5d20.
And you actually hide. Yeah, roll a d20 plus your hide.
Okay,
Yeah, plus your stealth, I should say. So yeah, past 12, good enough. So
plus
you
6.
you burst out and like shoot one of these guys. The other two jump away, and in the confusion, you disappear. I don't even know where you went. So they will have to actually search for you to find you. All right, then Joel, your turn.
Well, I want to use my battle axe.
Okay, so yeah, you can reach one. There's one guy right close.
There, yeah.
Yeah, so you rush up and you swing your battle axe at this guy. Roll d20 and add your. So you should have like weapons. Did we break down weapons for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. But anyway, it should be your strength plus your proficiency. So plus 4. So plus 4. D20
So
plus
after I get plus.
Yep.
Cool, 7 in total.
7 in total. So yeah, you rush over this guy, but he nimbly just dodges to the side. So is there anything else you can do on your turn that you know of? Or does anybody else know about bonus actions for a ranger? I don't know if there are.
They don't have any at level 2.
Yeah, okay, sure. All right, so now it's my turn. Now the goblins, surprised that you guys saw them and messed up their ambush. Some of them rush forward. So first things first, one die swings right back. The one that dies right away swings back at you. 10 plus 3, what's your AC? 12? All right, I think he does. 26. He jumps out of the way and he has like this crude, like stone knife. And he slashes at you for 5 damage. So he does that. This one surprisingly brave.
You raise
Runs up to you,
20
Gunter.
and you go 9,
9, 10, 11,
2,
12. AC's 9. So he hits you for 6 damage. He's a little goblin, surprisingly brave. But I will say that this is a weird thing. He can't, no one else can get, you're blocking the door, so it won't be like anyone else can necessarily get in. Swift is behind you, your gorilla is
How much
behind you.
damage did you take?
6. And this guy's dead. These guys, I'm going to say this guy starts coming over this way, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, looking for you. 19, and what was your stealth?
19 plus 6, so
Okay,
25.
This guy does not see you yet. So remember your number 25 for the moment until you come out of hiding. Remember that number. That's the DC he has to succeed. Find you. I'm gonna say these two guys. They pick up. They have these stone knives, and they pick up rocks from the ground, like big fist-sized rocks, and they throw them one at you and one at you. But they're going to have disadvantage because you're kind of in a little bit of cover. So 3 plus 3 is 1. Yeah, okay. They both miss. They throw rocks at you guys that look like they would seriously hurt if they hit you, but they both miss. And then this last guy goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, clearly trying to come up on you. The third you guys.
Best. I send the monkey after the goblin.
Okay, so you back up a little bit, let the monkey go after this goblin, and yep, he attacks him. So I will say that the gorilla has +3 to his attack. 10 in total.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the goblin pretty quick dodges out of the way. That will be the monkey's turn. He almost grabs him, but I'm gonna say you guys kind of get stuck next to each other in the door. You can't quite get out. He almost grabs him, but the goblin jumps away. Still within your reach.
I'm almost.
Yeah, you're gonna attack. Go for it. 9,
12.
9 plus 2. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So yeah. So as he jumps out of the way of the gorilla trying to grab him, how do you hit the goblin?
So as Gorilla tries to grab here, I'm swinging my weapon that way.
Yeah, like around the gorilla.
So he goes this way until he
Smash. Okay, and you smash this goblin, and you don't even have to roll damage. You figure out by this point, goblins have 1 hit point. So they are not very tough, but they come in numbers. So, all right, so Swift, let's you go for it.
All right. I'm gonna jump up here.
Okay, so you run out the door. It's clear now, so you run out, and there's a big rock. It's like down like a couple of feet, but there's this giant rock that you can like stand on top of to still have sight across the way. So there's one goblin over there, and there's the other 4.
All right, I'm gonna try and smack this goblin.
Okay, sure. Just shoot with an arrow. Okay, roll your d20 plus your dex plus your proficiency. So you probably have like +5 or something. Longbow +7.
11 plus 3, 14.
Yeah. Well, it says there longbow +7, right? Because do you have a fighting style called archery?
Yes.
Yes, you have +7. Yeah. Okay. So 11 plus 7, you definitely hit. So yeah, you peg this. You jump out and nimbly shoot an arrow right through this goblin's, right through his eye, and he falls backwards. And boom. Yeah. You notice too, it doesn't seem to phase the other ones at all. They seem pretty mindless. They're more just like trickster kind of weird monsters.
Goblin not small.
Yeah, goblins. Not
They don't know when to
not particularly smart.
I don't know what hits them.
All right, so you take that. You take that one out. Back to Paige and then George.
All right.
So whoever wants to go first, let Paige go.
And this goblin is nearby.
Yeah, you can just spot him through the rocks. He can't see you, but he's like coming up, like looking around, trying to spot you, and he does not see you. So, what do you do?
I'm gonna give him a stab.
Sure. So you can rush up to him, and I will let you. Because you're coming from hiding, I will say you have advantage to it. Versus a
Really? Double 3.
right at the last second, he's like looking away, and he like you're right in his face all of a sudden, and they're super quick. That's one thing about them. Their one strength is they are fast, right? So last second, you go to jab him, and he like ducks right to the side.
This is why we use numbers and.
That's it.
And then I'm gonna hide again.
Okay, so if you want to hide, here's what I'm going to say. You are engaged with this guy in melee, so you'll have to move away. He will get opportunity attacks. Or you can stay engaged with him and try and maybe avoid it.
I'm gonna just stay in combat with him.
Yeah, sure. So, now, I will say this. You can take a bonus action. You have cunning action, right?
Yeah.
So dash, disengage, or hide?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could disengage and move away from him, and he can't take an opportunity attack, but you can't hide after that. You can just move somewhere else.
I'm disengaging and
You can move, I will say your speed is 30 feet.
Yeah.
You can move 25 feet. You came out pretty much 5 feet right up to him. So.
behind.
Yeah, okay, so you come up and you stab at him, and then you miss him, and then you just like back off, right? Defensively back off so he can't immediately.
Defensively backs up to hide behind foot.
All right, Evangela, your turn.
Okay.
Goblin's still in front of you. Same thing, if you move away from him,
Yeah.
he will get a chance to attack you.
I want to try to attack again.
Yeah, sure. So you know too now, having seen a couple of ones die, you know these guys are pretty weak. You just have to get hit them. You have to manage. But they're very quick. They're not, 8 plus 5. That is a hit. So yeah, with your this guy dodging with your axe, you chop his head right off. His head, still smiling, flies through the air, lands on the ground nearby. Okay, now the 3 goblins who are left, I'm going to have them make a morale check. So they've seen a bunch of their friends get killed, and like that.
That side is.
Exactly. So they're going to make a morale check on a 5 or a 6. They stay. Or on anything less, they start to run away. Okay. 4. They get freaked out. They're like, hey, these two, both. I'm going to roll the d4 for each one and see which direction they run. They don't stick together. 1, he goes 10, 15. He runs off in the distance. 3, so let's say 1, 2, 3. He goes out 5, and he runs off in the distance. And 1, he is still in sight when he's running. You can see these guys, but they're far enough away now within just a couple quickly. Actually, they dash. They use the dash action to go super far away. They're in the distance. You can still see them, but they have a little bit of cover among the hills because they're so short, and they're trying to get away. So you can get chased or whatever, that's fine. But at the moment, you can't run over it, right? You can't grab these guys. That one guy is still standing there trying to run away. It's your 2 guys' turns. So yeah, you can go first if you want. Swift jumps up on another rock, takes aim with his arrow. Seven plus 7?
Yeah.
How do you kill this guy? How do you shoot the arrow? Like you maybe like lob it up high and it comes like right down top of them, or
Yeah,
you just shoot it through
right.
the neck?
Yeah, just,
You do that up high long shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like flies up, and you guys are all watching for like a good 10 seconds as the arrow goes up, curves down on a parabolic arc, smacks him right in the ground.
like, just, it gets him in the neck, so.
Yeah, he's just like pinned to the ground.
I'd
And
say.
Yay!
the other 2
Other
are
one go.
the other 2 are running. So.
2 and 1.
All right, combat over. So you guys have defeated a couple goblins who were trying to sneak up on you, so you know you're not alone on this island. Yeah, so I'll pick these guys back.
No. That's dinner.
But But I'll take these two guys out.
Moist, delicious. This is goblin.
Okay, all right, so you guys,
Oh my goblin.
you guys have officially, yeah, you guys defeated some goblins, and let's say you're back now on the map. You've discovered you guys are still grouped in the lighthouse. These guys run away.
Just saying.
You see, as a note, the one who ran like this, who ran to the this direction, he jumps in the water and starts swimming away, and the other guy starts running down towards the beach and disappears in like behind like a little small hillock, like behind some grass and a little knoll. And, you can see where he went. What do you want to do now? So you can continue to explore, or you can decide to do something.
Let's make it back to the ship. Start doing things.
So you see your ship down here. Your like boat's down here to get back to your ship. So that's pretty close. If you head down, as you're coming down this direction, you couldn't really see it before, but you see it again now. You do notice the shipwreck over here, which is like buried in like this sandy island that's slightly off islet, rather, that's like off the main island. I'll just point that out. You do see it if you want to explore it. But otherwise, yeah, you can easily get back to your boat without seeing any more goblins. So that's a good point. Yeah, it's like this is a much smaller ship than yours, but it's not a like rowboat. It's like a small schooner. So yeah, and if you get to your rowboat, you can easily row out to that island.
If you want.
Take
Check it out.
15 minutes to get there. So, do you want to do that, or do you want to do something? Do you want to go back to your Kraken?
Slowly take off. Go to the Kraken.
We're gonna go to Kraken.
Go to the Kraken.
Yeah. Now, I mean, you know, if you go to the Kraken, you still have to get a mast. You still have to get a mast or get lumber to build one. But yeah, maybe you can go back to the Kraken and report, tell you what you've seen, make a plan to come back and explore the island.
I also have food.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you have hunted goblin.
Hunted goblin.
So yeah, what do you guys want to do? As a group, you decide. Everyone vote. Like, do you want to explore somewhere else on the island now, or go back to the Kraken?
Shipwreck.
Shipwreck.
So,
Dean Dragon wants to explore the.
so you going through you give in to your friends, like democracy in action, and you pile the goblins into your rowboat to eat later as an orc delicacy. So you're going to teach your friends out. And yeah, you just head down to the island. It's only right there. So they convince you, no, let's just go there now. It won't take a minute. So it takes about 15 minutes to get down to that island and beach and get your boat set up. And as you don't see anything down there, this old ship is half buried in the sand. So it must have clearly been left here or wrecked a long time ago, and it's just over many years has been buried. There's a large rock in the center that kind of blocks your view, but you can tell that it looks like the ship is actually semi-intact, not completely intact. I will say this, you do get a closer inspection. There was a small mast that won't fit the Kraken, and it was also over many years. However, I will say otherwise, the hull of the ship looks fairly intact. There's like a hole in the side where it's popping up through the sand, but most of the timbers are in good shape. It looks like the stores and other
He is going to searching for treasure.
Sure. So you search it.
Random trinket.
So here's what I'm going to say about that is. All right, so you have a fairly easily look around and you poke your head into this tiny little hole and you poke your eye up to it, and you can see some sort of sea chest is still in the hole, but it's half buried under the sand. You know, quickly looking at it, and like you don't even have to investigate this. You can see that to get to it, you guys would have to spend about an hour, like digging away sand to actually reach it. Like, well, definitely there's a chest.
It
Yeah,
is
sure.
actively like wants
But
treasure and
because you haven't shoveled, it'll take about an hour to actually. So
still KG wants treasure. He's literally just digging.
yeah, for sure.
Like,
I think if
baby
you guys team up, you can get to it.
Dragon is digging.
All right, so you guys start digging. Out on the main island, as you're doing this, you're safe from this. You see a different sight. You see a goblin again. Or no, actually, you don't see a goblin. You see a different type of creature. That didn't have time to make as good tokens. But out on the main island, you see running over the hill and kind of bounding around. They can't reach you. Are these two-legged? Like they look like they have like a ball body and a long tail, and these two-legged clawed feet, and they have huge teeth, and they're just running around. They just look like wild kind of animals, but they also look sort of like goblins. And the two of you guys can make history checks. They know about goblins.
I don't know about this thing though.
8 plus 4.
12?
No, 8 plus 2.
10. Okay. And yeah, you can tell they look goblinoid, but they're not anything you've ever quite seen before.
Not the goblin I ever saw before.
Yeah. So they don't like they kind of like they can't reach you guys, so they kind of come up to the shore and they look around and they run off. Well, you definitely see them. At the moment, you spend an hour digging, right? Sound good? All right. You find the sea chest. It's not locked. It's buried half under sand. But inside, you find it's clearly like a supply chest of some kind. So it has like some different mariner supplies and those kind of things. The main thing you find is in a nice glass bottle is a swirling blue liquid with a nice fancy cork on the top. You see an oil cloak, a very well-made oil cloak, probably for some sort of like noble type person, like a captain or an officer or something like that. You see in a little box there's a spyglass, like a compact, like extendable spyglass that you can use like to spot things.
Like look treasures.
There's a very well-made lantern that looks to be weatherproof, so if you light it and you have it out in like a storm, it's not going to go out until it runs out of oil. And you also find a stash of coins and a little bag with coins and gems and that kind of stuff in it. And it will be, let's say this. Yeah, if you look inside, it has 70 gold and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 gems, and I will send you later. I'll write this out later. I'll keep this. But there's just a variety of little gems. So clearly, like this is like an emergency kit that whoever owned the ship had, like a few little things to survive, and like a bag of money is always handy. One of the most important survival things. Something to trade, something to buy supplies with. If you get shipwrecked and you find other people, and yeah, clearly you guys have found this treasure. And I'll send it before next session. I will write it off or print it off, and I'll give it to you guys. So you know, okay?
I usually keep
Yeah.
bringing the DnD sheets.
Yeah, for sure. So we can do that. Okay. So you spend an hour doing that. It's now like mid-afternoon. So a few more hours, it will be dark. Did you know that? What do you want to do?
Yeah,
Okay, so to do that, between all of you think your best bet is to go to the forest area, see if you can find a tall enough tree or a couple of trees that can be cut done together. That one is fairly small, not big enough for nest. Same with these two. They're not small, they're not super small. You might be able to use them for part of it, but the big trees are in that forest. So I can say that.
Okay, well, he is just sleepy. And like, Kraken,
You
anything more?
you are fairly safe on this spot. You can take a short rest if you need to. I don't know. Who the two of you here, I think. You did,
Yeah.
right?
I didn't, but I used them.
Yeah,
Right.
sure. You could take a short rest for an hour, another hour. You push on the day and because your night, but if you want to cover some hit points, you could do that. In this spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so after digging for an hour, you guys have some lunch basically. Discuss your plans. A short rest is you don't do anything strenuous, right? So you sit around, you have some lunch, you bind wounds if you need to, whatever, right?
So eat the goblet.
So how you eat some goblin.
There you go.
Yeah, so how it works is you guys have hit dice. You have 2 hit dice. So right here, it's a total 2d10, right? You can roll 1, and then it'll be 1d10. Then you can roll another one later or now, and you have 0. When you take a long rest and you sleep overnight, you get those back. So, but you can rest a couple of times, right? So if you want to gain some hit points back, you lost 6 earlier, I think, right?
5.
You can roll a d10 and try and get some of those back. You can get up to 5 back, right? You roll 7. Did you get some back? What's your hit dice?
D8.
D8. So if you want to roll a D8, you have 2 of them.
Yeah.
I heal up.
You heal 5. Yeah, there you go. Oh, and add your constitution. So,
I'm full health.
yeah, so +1, so you got 3 back.
Cool.
Yeah, so you basically take a quick rest. Now you can roll your other one, but you won't have it again until you press it.
I'm a +2, so that would mean I have 7.
Yeah, so you can't go over your total.
But I had 6.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Yeah, you got your full health back.
I am revived after eating goblet.
Yeah, you eat a good meal in goblin. Feel better, for sure. All right, so we got 15 minutes left. Make a plan. What do you want to do? Do you want to go back to the Kraken and get reinforcements? Do you want to go explore the forest and see what is actually there? Do you want to explore the house? Do you want to explore other parts of the island?
Forest.
So
We need to fix the mess soon or else.
yeah, so you need to be able to. Like I said, from the lighthouse you spotted some fresh water. So there's fresh water here, which is good. There's goblin here with his food, at least some. So you could probably, get enough to your crew. Yeah, you can probably get enough for your crew to make it to the next leg of the journey, as long as you can make it fast. Okay, so if you want to go to the forest, right? Or does everyone vote on it? What do you want to do?
Forest.
Yeah.
Okay, you go to the forest. You guys go back to the main and roll. Okay. You go back along the way. You don't see any sight of anything. You see some tracks from where the goblins were earlier. You see tracks from these 2 creatures that were running around. And as you get to the forest, this is what I will say, is as you get pretty close, you do see some movement in the deep bushes in there. As you go, it's way heavier than you would have expected. The rest of the island is very barren, but there's this grove of trees for some reason. Who is proficient in Arcana or Nature?
I cannot.
Arcana as well. Anyone else?
Nope.
What about you, Swift?
No, neither.
Okay, so if you guys want, you can examine the trees with Arcana or with Nature to see. There's definitely something odd about the trees. So, but to figure it out, you have to roll one.
I'll check to make sure. D20,
Yeah, D20.
13.
Okay, you beat it because you got 12. So, okay, as you get closer, you realize, this is just strange like that. And it's kind of weird. Dwarves don't like trees, or that's always the joke that people say. So, I don't know, maybe your character doesn't care, but so with that in mind, they know weird stuff about trees. Watch out for those trees.
Yeah.
You know, they do weird, do all this stuff. That's not true, but they know some weird facts. You notice, I mean, these trees, yeah, they don't seem like they're native to this island, and they don't really look like anything that should grow here or could grow here. You notice the roots are like breaking the rocks apart down to any sort of ability to grow.
One bit things trees may have magic.
Yeah, and you, I will say, can tell, hey, look, these definitely seem magical. You've heard stories of like druids who will like grow,
Druids make trees.
make trees grow, right?
Magic trees. Druids annoying.
Clearly, there were elves here at some point in the statues. A lot of elves are like like foresty and exactly right.
Dwarves, goblins now. There's too much.
So you just kind of notice those facts. As that happens, as you get up close to the trees, and you start noticing this stuff. You suddenly hear some unintelligible shouting deep in the woods, and you hear the sound of like tools. There's like a hammer, and then there's like sawing, and there is other things, and there's different voices. Sounds like goblins, clearly like working together, doing something deep in the woods. You can't see past like a few feet inside, and you hear. Well, I'm going to say, you hear a very loud clanking sound for a moment. What do you do?
Monkey.
He can climb the trees.
Monkey climb.
Easily climb the trees. He gets up. Okay. I'm going to have him make a stealth check to get close enough to see. So he's going to have +2 to his stealth. +2 to everything.
18.
18? Okay, so he, even though he's pretty big, climbs up the top of the trees and goes across so many, and he comes back.
Been waiting so
There's
long.
music. Monkey.
Monkey goes across the treetops, the canopy, and he comes back a couple minutes later. You can speak to him, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. He comes back, he rushes back all of a sudden, and you see, as he's rushing back, he's like shouting to you, trying to say something. You have to, what spell do you have to speak with him?
Speak with animal.
Yeah, okay, so you cast Speak with Animal. Do you want to do that, or do you want to just try and intuit what he's saying?
Cast.
Yeah, okay, so you cast Speak with Animal, and he starts yelling, big wooden creature, and this thing starts clanking out of the woods, pushing down trees, and it's several meters away from you guys at this point, but it's this large, it's made out of like a barrel and scraps of old boats and like rigging. This is not exactly what it looks like, but it's basically a bipedal, some sort of bipedal goblin.
Oh my god.
Goblin thing. Everyone roll me a d6. Now I'm going to roll one as well. Okay, just keep it in front of you for a second. Yep, roll it. 4. What was yours?
1.
Paige, 1. Swift?
5.
And 4. Okay, so this is what you see. You see this it's like a barrel, like this huge barrel. It's one of the oil barrels actually. That's like similar to before. Not the ones you found earlier, but like another one. And it has like a visor on the front and like this little plates of scrap iron and stuff on to protect it. And it has an arm, 2 arms and 2 legs. And it has weird eyes. It has these goggles for eyes that are glowing red. It has on its right arm, it has like a big cannon looking thing. On its left arm, it has a sort of magical looking arm that's crackling with lightning. On its right leg, it has a broken down like junk parts, like metal and scrap wood and stuff that's belching out smoke. And on its left leg, it actually has like a wooden like leg coming down, and to the bottom of it, strapped is a giant worm that is moving and wriggling and causing it to move. It is an insane contraption. It is an insane goblin contraption.
I love how it's a goblin.
And I think
I've seen this.
we only have a few. You have, okay, make a quick history check. Yeah, you got it. So with your history check, Gunther actually staggers backwards, seeing this goblin war engine crashing out of the woods towards you, and with its crazy ridiculousness,
They very
You know
good to take down.
you tell everyone else, oh no, I've seen one of these things before. Goblins, are like weirdly savants at technology. They can take scrap and make something like this, and it just causes destruction in the countryside. You have to deal with it when it happens,
They
right?
make crazy contraptions.
And so this thing is crashing towards you guys now.
Like one machine.
It's smashing down trees. It's got these glowing eyes, which it shoots at a tree to cut it in half with a laser. It's ridiculous. It's actually almost funny to see because it's insane.
Gunther not like this.
Smoke is belching out of
Gunther
this.
knows this is bad.
Smoke is belching out of one leg.
Hiding behind Gunther now.
The worm is dragging it along by the other one, and it's like shaking as it goes. This worm is like lashed to it, and just the worm is like not even cooperating. It's just moving, causing the thing to move in the direction it wants. And it's coming towards you guys. And with that, I think that's where we'll end our session on a high note.
All right.
When we start next time, the first thing I'm going to say is roll initiative.
Exciting.
Gunther knows what goblins do. They make this.
You know, goblins are weird.
Goblins make technology to counter what looks always.
Fun. That was fun.
Gunther is very scared of this. Because normally we have a guy.
Normally you have your
All
boys
right.
stacking up.
And
Your
I'm
4 adventures.
I have 10 or normally. I would want
going to send the live
At
stream.
minimum.
See you guys.
See you.
like this.
Mhm.